So the Springboks have just announced a new name in their 23-man side to take on the All Blacks this weekend in round 3 of the Rugby Championship. And in this video, we're going to be breaking it down. Eben Etzebeth, though, the player that we are talking about, initially left out due to injury, now comes in to replace Mako van Staden off the bench, and what will be a massive benefit for the Springboks later on in the contest. But we will jump straight into it. Initially, Tuesday night for us here in New Zealand, or Tuesday midday in South Africa, the Springboks did announce their 23-man side to take on New Zealand. There were a few big names that were left out, but one player that a lot of people were hoping would be in there was this man, Eben Etzebeth. He is slowly working his way towards the most capped Springbok of all time, just a little bit behind Victor Matfield, but with a performance off the bench here for Etzebeth, he will move to second of all time, surpassing Brian Habana. But the injury concerns, they are what left him out of the initial naming. Same with Arjis Neyman, same with Salman Murat. They've had so many injuries in that locking jersey over the last little while. That's not even mentioning Ludiacha as well as Franco Mostert. But the Springboks, they've got some good news, and that is that Eben Etzebeth will be coming off the bench, replacing Mako van Staden. Now, people have called it mind games, and I guess you could say to a certain extent, there is a little bit of a mind game involved with Rassie Erasmus changing a man in his 23-man side, only because I can't think of another instance that we've actually seen this happen, aside from when a player is injured. But Mako van Staden, he's 100%. He could play if he had to, but he's been taken out, and that is due to Eben Etzebeth being cleared and rearing to go for this match. So I wonder whether or not is that something we are going to see in the future. Our side's going to announce a team, try and get the opposition to select a certain way and then just change it last minute? Or is there some sort of rule that says because we are so far away from the game and because the Springboks announced their side so early, it's completely fine, which I assume is the case in this situation. But Rassie Erasmus, to have Eben Etzebeth back in the Springbok side is a massive plus. 125 caps he's going to be bringing up. He brings physicality. He will be off the bench in this game, unless, of course, they change it again before the start of this contest, which would definitely fuel the rumours of mind games here from Rassie Erasmus. But New Zealand, they are still a little way away from announcing their side. They've got a few injury concerns of their own. Scott Barrett, it does seem like he is ready to go back, so we could get to see that Barrett versus Etzebeth head-to-head like we have seen in the past as well. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of this inclusion? Eben Etzebeth back. I know that there have been quite a few concerned individuals when it comes to that Springbok locking duo. They've got Peter Steptoe at 4. At number 5, they did have Rua Nokia. That is exactly how it's going to stay, but a specialist lock now off the bench for the men in the green and the gold for this first match between the two sides. So just to give you a little bit more information when it comes to the bench, it is Malcolm Marx at number 16. Number 17, Gerhard Stennekamp is still there as the loose head prop. Vincent Koch at 18. Eben Etzebeth then comes in as the 19. Like I said, that is for Mako van Staden. Elric Lowe keeps his spot. Quagga Smith still at 21. I mean, that man can bring a real impact, and it's always talked about the X factor that he brings when making his way off the bench, but I feel like Etzebeth might be able to match him in that regard in terms of enforcing physicality and making a real difference later on. And at the contest, Grant Williams as the 22 and 23, Andre Pollard. Now, there is still a slight chance we could see Mako van Staden back into the Springboks 23 if there is some sort of injury as we head towards the match, but he's probably the player that a lot of people are feeling for the most here, getting announced to play up against the All Blacks, to then get told, now you're gone. But there's also the other side of things, which is the massive inclusion of a Springbok great as the replacement lock. Nonetheless, this was just a quick little update in terms of the predicament that the Springboks found themselves in, but still plenty of time before the match takes place. Eben Etzebeth is back. The All Blacks, their announcement not too far away. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.